Think you know Chile? Think again. This country is absolutely insane, and if you go there without knowing the rules, you are going to make a huge mistake. We're talking about a place with some of the most unbelievable, shocking, and craziest social rules I've ever seen in my entire life. And trust me, I've seen a lot. This isn't just about saying please and thank you. Oh no. We're diving deep into taboos that could get you kicked out of a village, fined by the police, or just make everyone in the room hate you instantly. I'm not even exaggerating. I've spent thousands of hours and a literal mountain of cash researching this for you guys, so you don't have to make these mistakes. We flew in experts, we translated ancient texts, we even sent Carl to try and break some of these rules just to see what would happen. It did not go well for him, let me tell you. In this video, I'm going to give you the ultimate guide. Here are 15 taboos and quirky rules in Chile that might seriously shock you the first time you visit. And when I say shock you, I mean your jaw will be on the floor for the entire video. This is literally the most important video you will ever watch before traveling to South America. It's a social survival guide that could save you from unbelievable embarrassment. Some of these are so specific, so wild, you'd never guess them in a million years. Like, did you know there's a village where you are legally required to have an organ removed just to live there? Or that if you laugh the wrong way, people will think you're a monster? It sounds like I'm making this up, but I promise you, every single thing in this video is 100% true and absolutely mind-blowing. So, whatever you are doing right now, stop. Put down your phone, tell your friends to be quiet, because you need to pay attention to every single second of this. I'm about to hand you the keys to unlocking Chile, to navigating it like a pro instead of a tourist who makes everyone uncomfortable. I am giving you the secret playbook, the cheat codes to Chilean culture. So buckle up, smash that like button if you're ready for this insanity, and watch now before it's too late. You do not want to be the person who makes one of these mistakes. Let's do this. Alright, first up, let's talk about how you say hello, because if you mess this up, you've already lost the game before it even starts. In America, you might shake hands, maybe give a little wave, or if you know someone well, a hug. But in Chile, if you go in for a full-on hug with someone you just met, it's gonna get weird. It's like you're trying to steal their wallet or something. It's way too forward, too personal, and just, no, they will literally recoil. I challenged Nolan to hug the first 10 people he met, and he only got to 2 before someone called security. It's a massive personal space invasion. So, no hugs. Got it. But here's where your brain is going to short-circuit. Instead of a hug, the standard, everyday, casual greeting between literally everyone, men and women, women and women, even sometimes men and men, is a kiss on the cheek. But it's not really a kiss. It's more like you touch your right cheek to their right cheek and make a little moi sound in the air next to their ear. It's an air kiss. If you actually plant your lips on their cheek, you've gone too far again. It's an incredibly fine line between being friendly and being a total creep. This isn't just for close friends either. This is for everyone. You're meeting your friend's mom for the first time? Cheek kiss. A business associate is introducing you to their team. Cheek kiss, cheek kiss, cheek kiss, all the way down the line. It's like a social assembly line of air kisses. And you have to do it. If someone leans in and you offer them a handshake instead, you're basically telling them, I don't like you and I don't respect your customs. It's seen as cold, distant, and incredibly rude. You've created a wall, and good luck tearing that down. And you can't escape it. This happens when you say hello, and guess what? You have to do the entire ritual all over again when you say goodbye. Every single person. If you're at a party with 30 people, you are contractually obligated to go around and give 30 individual cheek kisses before you can leave. If you just wave and bounce, it's the social equivalent of spitting on the floor. It's a huge deal. They will talk about the rude foreigner who just vanished for weeks. Mastering this one little gesture is the first, most critical step to not being hated in Chile. Alright, this next one is so serious it's not even a joke. If you do this, you could genuinely find yourself in a very bad situation. The taboo is this: you absolutely, under any circumstances, do not touch a Chilean person's hair without their explicit, enthusiastic permission. I don't care if they have the coolest, most amazing hairstyle you've ever seen in your life. Keep your hands to yourself. To us, it might seem like a weird or quirky compliment, but in Chile, especially when interacting with indigenous communities, it's a profound violation. It's not just hair, it's a part of their soul. This belief is deeply rooted in the spiritual traditions of groups like the Mapuche people, who are indigenous to parts of Chile and Argentina. For them, hair is a physical manifestation of a person's life force, their thoughts and their spiritual connection to the earth and their ancestors. It holds memories, strength, and identity. When you reach out and touch their hair, you're not just touching some dead protein strands. You are seen as interfering with their spirit, their energy, their very being. It is an act of immense disrespect, and it's seen as incredibly invasive and even threatening. Think about it like this. I'm going to give you a brand new Lamborghini, but the rule is you can never, ever touch the engine. To you, the engine is just a machine, but to the car, it's its heart. That's what hair is like here. It's the spiritual engine of a person. By touching it, you are seen as trying to take something from them, their power, their luck, or their spiritual essence. It's a gesture loaded with negative historical context, echoing a long history of colonialism where indigenous cultures were disrespected and violated. Your seemingly innocent touch carries the weight of centuries of oppression. So, let me be crystal clear. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. Don't even let your hand hover near their head. I sent Chris to a local market with a hidden camera and told him to just compliment people's hair, not even touch it. Even just talking about it made people visibly uncomfortable. They would step back, cross their arms, and their friendly demeanor would vanish instantly. It's a sacred boundary. Breaking this taboo isn't just rude, it's a deep cultural and spiritual offense that you will not be forgiven for. Just admire from a distance and keep your hands locked at your sides. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Mr. Beast, I get it for indigenous communities, but what about in the big cities like Santiago? Is it still a big deal there? And the answer is a resounding yes. While the spiritual reasoning might be less pronounced among the general urban population, the taboo itself has bled into the wider Chilean culture. It has become a deeply ingrained rule of personal space and respect that applies to pretty much everyone. Touching someone's hair is just not something that is done. It's weird, it's invasive, and it's just plain wrong in their social code. For many Chileans, even those without direct indigenous heritage, the idea of a stranger touching their head is incredibly unsettling. It's a very intimate part of the body, and allowing someone to touch your hair is a sign of immense trust and closeness, reserved for family, romantic partners, or a hairdresser. When a stranger does it, it bypasses all of those social steps. It's like skipping the first 20 dates and going straight to meeting the parents. It's just too much, too soon, and it sets off all kinds of internal alarm bells. It signals a complete lack of social awareness. The reaction you'll get might not be an explanation of spiritual beliefs. It'll be a look of pure confusion and annoyance. They'll recoil, maybe say, "¿Qué te pasa?" which is like, "What's wrong with you?" and immediately label you as a weirdo. You've crossed a line you didn't even know existed. We had a team member try this as an experiment, and the person they touched literally flinched and wiped their hair as if they'd been contaminated. The social damage was instant and irreversible. They went from a friendly stranger to a social pariah in less than a second. So the rule is universal. From the most remote indigenous village in Patagonia to the most bustling cosmopolitan street in Santiago, the hair is off limits. It doesn't matter if your intentions are good. It doesn't matter if you think it's a compliment. It is one of the fastest ways to make a Chilean dislike and distrust you. It shows that you have zero understanding of their personal boundaries and their culture. So, I'm saying this for the last time. If you want to have a good time in Chile, if you want people to actually like you, admire the hair from afar, do not, I repeat, do not touch the hair. Alright, for our next taboo, we're diving into something absolutely insane. Divorce in Chile is a huge deal. Like, so big that for the longest time it was literally illegal. Imagine telling your partner you want to break up and the entire country says, nope, not allowed. It wasn't until 2004 that they even legalized it, making it one of the last countries in the world to do so. This created a massive cultural stigma that still exists today. It's not just a legal process, it's seen as a major personal and social failure, something people will whisper about for years. It's like getting a tattoo on your forehead that says, I couldn't make it work. So what did people do before 2004? Did they just stay in unhappy marriages forever? Well, some did, but others found a crazy workaround. This is where it gets wild, guys. People discovered a legal loophole that was so clever, it's almost like a cheat code for life. Instead of getting a divorce, which was impossible, they would get an annulment. But not just any annulment. They would claim that when they got married, they gave the wrong address to the civil registrar. It sounds like a tiny mistake, right? Who cares about a typo on a form? But in the eyes of the law, it was everything. This tiny, seemingly insignificant mistake was the golden ticket. By claiming the address was wrong, they could argue that the marriage contract itself was invalid from the very beginning. The court would look at it and say, well, if the address is wrong, then the entire legal foundation of this marriage is faulty. And just like that, poof! The marriage never happened. It wasn't a divorce, it was a complete erasure from the record books. It's like using the undo button on the biggest commitment of your life. This became the standard way for thousands of Chileans to end their marriages for decades. Think about the sheer genius of that. It's a level of problem solving that you have to respect. Instead of fighting a legal system that wouldn't bend, they found a crack and blew it wide open. This wasn't just about ending a relationship. It was about preserving social standing. An annulment meant you weren't a divorced person, which carried a heavy stigma. You were just someone whose marriage was a clerical error. It's like telling your friends you didn't fail the test. The teacher just graded the wrong paper. It's a masterclass in social navigation, turning a legal technicality into a cultural escape hatch. Even though divorce is legal now, that old school thinking is still around. Getting a divorce is seen as a much bigger deal in Chile than in many other places. It's not something you just casually mention at a party. It's often viewed as a deep, personal failing, a sign that you gave up. The pressure to maintain the image of a perfect, stable family is immense, especially in more conservative or religious circles. So even with the legal option on the table, many people will still go to extreme lengths to avoid the D word, because the social consequences can feel more punishing than the marriage itself. This cultural pressure is so intense that it affects everything. People might stay in unhappy situations for years, purely to avoid the judgment of their families, friends, and community. The idea of till death do us part is taken incredibly seriously, and breaking that vow is not taken lightly. When a couple does decide to split, the conversation is often framed in whispers. It becomes the town gossip. Who was at fault? What went wrong? The scrutiny is massive, and it's one of the main reasons why the annulment option, even if less common, still holds a certain appeal for some who want to sidestep that direct label. Compare this to the annulment. Annulling a marriage feels cleaner, almost more sophisticated in a weird way. It suggests the problem was a technicality, not a total breakdown of love and commitment. It's a way to say the marriage itself was flawed from the start, rather than, we failed at this. This subtle difference in language and perception is huge in a culture that places such a high value on social harmony and avoiding public failure. It's the difference between a controlled demolition and a messy, unexpected collapse. One is planned and clean, the other is a disaster. So while the law has changed, the hearts and minds of the people are slower to catch up. The taboo around divorce is a powerful force in Chilean society. It dictates how people approach relationships, marriage, and separation. It's a reminder that laws can be changed overnight, but cultural norms that have been built up over generations take a lot longer to fade away. For many, erasing the marriage is still seen as a better option than admitting it ended, making this one of the most fascinating social workarounds in the world. It's not just law, it's psychology. Alright, let's switch gears from legal documents to something a little more exposed. We're going to Playa Luna, which is literally the only official nude beach in the entire country of Chile. I'm not kidding. In a country that is famously conservative in many ways, there is one single, officially sanctioned stretch of sand where you can let it all hang out. This isn't just some random beach where people decide to take their clothes off. This is a legally recognized naturist beach, the first and only one of its kind in Chile. It's a total anomaly, a pocket of absolute freedom in a sea of social conservatism. Getting there is part of the adventure. Playa Luna isn't a place you just stumble upon. It's located near the town of Horcon, and you have to be determined to find it. You'll likely have to hike a bit, navigating coastal paths and trails to reach this hidden cove. This seclusion is part of its magic. It ensures that the people who go there are genuinely interested in the naturist lifestyle, not just curious onlookers. The journey itself acts as a filter, creating a community of people who share a common philosophy of freedom and respect for the human body. Once you arrive, the vibe is completely different from any other beach in Chile. It's incredibly respectful and chill. The number one rule is respect. No gawking, no photos without explicit permission, and absolutely no creepy behavior. It's a place built on the mutual understanding that everyone is there to enjoy nature in its purest form. People are there to swim, sunbathe, and relax without the constraints of clothing. It's a family-friendly environment where naturism is treated as completely normal, which is a radical idea in the broader context of Chilean culture. The existence of Playa Luna is a huge deal. It represents a massive cultural statement. In a society where modesty is often prized, this beach is a sanctuary for a different way of thinking. It's a testament to a small but dedicated group of people who fought for the right to have a space like this. They campaigned, they negotiated, and they eventually succeeded in getting official recognition in 2001. So Playa Luna isn't just a beach, it's a symbol of progress and tolerance, a tiny but powerful challenge to the country's traditional norms. It's a place where personal freedom literally meets the sea. The cultural significance of Playa Luna cannot be overstated. It's a bubble of European-style beach culture in the middle of Latin America. While nude beaches are common in places like France or Spain, in Chile, it's a revolutionary concept. The beach serves as a meeting point for a more liberal, open-minded segment of society. It's a place where people can escape the judgment they might face in their everyday lives. Here, the focus isn't on what you look like or what you're wearing, or not wearing, but on a shared experience of connecting with nature and embracing a philosophy of body positivity. This beach actively challenges the deep-seated Catholic conservatism that has shaped so much of Chilean culture. For centuries, the church has promoted modesty and viewed nudity as sinful or shameful. Playa Luna is a direct, albeit peaceful rebellion against that idea. It proposes an alternative view that the human body is natural and beautiful, not something to be hidden away in shame. By simply existing, the beach forces a conversation about modesty, freedom, and personal choice. It's a living, breathing example of counterculture thriving in a place you'd least expect it. Interestingly, the community at Playa Luna is fiercely protective of its values. The emphasis is on naturism, not exhibitionism. There's a clear distinction. Naturism is about non-sexual social nudity and the freedom that comes with it. The community works hard to educate visitors and ensure the atmosphere remains safe and respectful for everyone, including families with children. This self-policing is crucial to its survival and acceptance. They know that one scandal could threaten the existence of their unique sanctuary, so they are incredibly diligent about maintaining a wholesome and respectful environment. Ultimately, Playa Luna is more than just a place to get an all-over tan. It's a symbol of a changing Chile. It shows that even within a society known for its traditional values, there are powerful currents of change and a growing desire for personal liberty. The beach is a landmark of tolerance, a beautiful cove where the waves of the Pacific Ocean wash away social inhibitions. It stands as a bold declaration that in at least one small corner of this long, narrow country, freedom means feeling the sun and the sea breeze on your skin, with absolutely nothing in between. Okay, this next one is super important if you ever visit Chile. And I guarantee you do this every single day without even thinking about it. Do not point at people with your index finger. I'm serious. It's one of the rudest things you can possibly do. In a lot of cultures, pointing is just a neutral way of indicating something or someone. Hey, can you pass me that? Or look, it's him over there. But in Chile, extending your index finger directly at a person is seen as incredibly aggressive, accusatory, and just plain disrespectful. It's the non-verbal equivalent of yelling at someone across the room. Think about it this way. Pointing a finger is what you do when you're scolding a child or accusing someone of a crime. You did this. It carries a huge amount of negative energy and confrontation. In a culture that highly values politeness and avoiding direct conflict, this gesture is a massive social foul. It immediately creates tension and puts the other person on the defensive. It's seen as a gesture that asserts dominance and disrespect, and it can instantly change the entire mood of a conversation from friendly to hostile. You could be smiling and have the best intentions, but that finger says otherwise. The taboo is so strong that children are taught from a very young age not to do it. It's drilled into them by parents and teachers. No apuntes con el dedo. Don't point with your finger. It's considered bad manners or mala education. So when a foreigner comes in and starts pointing at people like it's nothing, it's immediately jarring and can be interpreted as a sign of arrogance or ignorance. Chileans might not always call you out on it directly, especially if they know you're a tourist, but they will definitely notice, and it will 100% affect their perception of you. So what's the alternative? How do you indicate a person or a direction without causing a major international incident? Chileans have a much more subtle and honestly cooler way of doing it. Instead of a sharp, pointy finger, they use a gesture that is way more chill. It's a simple but effective solution that completely avoids the aggressive connotation of the finger point. Mastering this alternative gesture is key to fitting in and showing that you've taken the time to understand and respect their culture. It's a small change that makes a gigantic difference in how you're perceived. So, If you can't use your finger, what do you do? Get ready for this. The preferred method in Chile is to point with your lips or your chin. I'm not joking. You literally purse your lips, kind of like you're about to give a kiss, and jut your chin out in the direction you want to indicate. It's a quick, subtle movement. Someone might ask, "Where's Carlos?" And instead of pointing, a Chilean will just subtly lift their chin and pucker their lips towards where Carlos is standing. It's so much more low-key and brilliant. It's a gesture that says over there without any of the aggression. This gesture is used for everything. Pointing out a person, an object, or a direction, the chin and lip point is the go-to move. It's fluid, it's non-confrontational, and it's deeply ingrained in their communication style. At first, it might feel weird or unnatural to do, but once you see it in action a few times, it starts to make perfect sense. It's a fantastic example of how nonverbal communication can be just as nuanced and important as the words being spoken. It's a whole different language that you're speaking with your face. Another acceptable alternative, if the lip point feels too advanced, is to use your whole hand. Instead of a single accusatory finger, you can gesture with an open palm, fingers together, in the direction you want to indicate. Think of it like a gentle this-way gesture. It's much softer and more polite than the sharp point of an index finger. This is often used for giving directions or indicating a general area. It diffuses the aggressive energy of the point and turns it into a more inviting and helpful gesture. It's all about the presentation. So the next time you're in Chile and you need to point something out, remember the rule. Fingers are for faux, lips are for locals. It's a small detail, but it speaks volumes about your cultural awareness. Ditching the finger point and adopting the chin and lip jut or the open hand gesture is one of the fastest ways to earn a nod of respect. It shows you're not just a tourist passing through. You're someone who is genuinely trying to connect with and respect the local customs. And that, my friends, is how you win at travel. Alright, for our next taboo, we are talking about something that would drive me absolutely insane. Because if you know me, you know I'm all about efficiency and getting things done fast. But in Chile, complaining about slow service or people being late is a huge no-no. It's like entering a challenge where the prize is just waiting. Imagine ordering food and it takes forever and you just have to sit there and smile. If you complained, you'd literally be the villain in this scenario. It's a cultural mindset that values relationships and conversation over the strict ticking of a clock, which is honestly kind of wild to think about for someone who schedules every single second of their day. This concept is so real, they even have a name for it: Chilean time, or La Hora Chilena. This isn't just an excuse, it's a legitimate cultural phenomenon. If someone says they'll meet you at 3 p.m., they might show up at 3:30, 4, or even later, and nobody bats an eye. It's the complete opposite of what we're used to, where being 5 minutes late can feel like a massive sign of disrespect. In Chile, showing up exactly on time for a social event can actually be awkward, because you might be the first one there, and the host isn't even ready for you yet. It's a total reversal of everything we think about punctuality. Think about applying this to one of my videos. Imagine I told my friends I'd give them a Lamborghini if they were the last to leave a circle, but they all showed up 3 hours late to start the challenge. That's basically the vibe in Chile. This relaxed approach extends to everything, from business meetings to restaurant service. You could be waiting for your meal for what feels like an eternity, but complaining to the waiter is seen as incredibly rude and impatient. You're expected to enjoy the moment, talk to the people you're with, and let things happen at their own, much slower pace. It's a true test of your patience, so if you're planning a trip to Chile, you literally have to rewire your brain. Forget everything you know about being on time. Pack a book, download some podcasts, or just get really good at staring into space, because you're going to be waiting. A lot. This isn't a sign that people don't value your time. It's just a completely different cultural rhythm. They prioritize the human connection over the deadline, the journey over the destination. It's a massive cultural shift that can be super frustrating, but it's a core part of the Chilean experience, and breaking this taboo will make you stand out in the worst way possible. So, why is being obsessed with time so taboo? It's because in Chile, rushing implies that the schedule is more important than the people you are with. If you're constantly checking your watch or trying to hurry a conversation along, it sends a message that you don't care about the person in front of you. You're basically telling them, this interaction is just a box I need to check before I move on to the next thing. That's considered extremely offensive in a culture that places such a high value on personal relationships and taking the time to genuinely connect with others. It's a quality over quantity approach to social interactions. Let's put this in perspective. Imagine you are out for dinner with friends. In many cultures, the goal is to eat, chat a bit, and then leave. In Chile, the dinner itself is the event. The conversation that happens over hours, the shared stories, the laughter, that's the whole point. Rushing the waiter for the bill is like trying to fast forward through the best part of a movie. It disrupts the entire social harmony of the moment. People will see you as impatient, stressed out, and maybe even a little bit arrogant for thinking your schedule is more important than everyone else's shared experience. You have to embrace the slow flow. This attitude is deeply ingrained in the fabric of daily life. It's not just about social gatherings. It applies to stores, banks, and government offices. You will wait in line. Things will take longer than you expect. Getting frustrated and showing it is the ultimate tourist mistake. The locals have a saying, tranquilo, which means calm down or relax. It's a philosophy. They believe that life is to be savored, not rushed through. Complaining about the wait just shows that you don't understand or respect their way of life, which is a one-way ticket to being disliked. So the ultimate challenge for any visitor is to let go of control. You cannot force Chile to operate on your schedule. You have to adapt to its rhythm. See the extra waiting time not as a waste, but as an opportunity. An opportunity to observe, to think, to have another conversation, or to simply be present in the moment. It's a completely different way of viewing the world. And while it might be one of the hardest adjustments to make, respecting Chilean time is absolutely essential to having a good experience and showing respect for the culture. Don't be that person who complains. Be the person who orders another coffee and enjoys the wait. Get ready for this, because this next taboo is one of the most surprising things about Chile. You know how we eat pizza, burgers, or French fries with our hands? I mean, I've literally eaten a 100-pound pizza before, and you can't do that with a fork and knife. Well, in Chile, eating with your hands is a massive taboo. I'm not kidding. Even for foods that seem designed to be eaten by hand, Chileans will almost always use utensils. Using your hands to eat is seen as unhygienic and honestly, a little bit barbaric. It's a sign of poor manners. Imagine sitting down at a party and they bring out a huge platter of French fries. Your first instinct is to just grab a handful, right? Wrong. In Chile, you'd be expected to spear each individual fry with a fork. The same goes for pizza. They will literally cut up a slice of pizza with a knife and fork. It's a level of dining formality that is just mind-blowing to most outsiders. Even a piece of fruit like an apple or a pear might be peeled and sliced with a knife before being eaten with a fork. It's an absolute commitment to cleanliness and proper etiquette at the dinner table. This isn't just a rule for fancy restaurants. This is an everyday thing. You'll see people in casual cafes and at family barbecues diligently using their silverware for everything. The idea is that your hands have touched all sorts of things throughout the day. Money, doorknobs, your phone, and shouldn't come into contact with your food. It's a cultural emphasis on hygiene that goes way beyond what most of us are used to. So, if you're ever invited to a Chilean home for a meal, your best bet is to watch what everyone else is doing and follow their lead. When in doubt, grab a fork. It's such a big deal that eating with your hands can genuinely make people around you uncomfortable. They might stare or think you have bad manners. It's like showing up to a black tie event in a clown suit. It just doesn't fit the social code. So, forget everything you know about casual eating. In Chile, the fork and knife are your best friends. Even for a quick snack, the expectation is to maintain a certain level of dining decorum. It's a small detail, but ignoring it is a major social blunder that will immediately mark you as a foreigner who doesn't get it. So, let's break this down even further. Why is this such an unbreakable rule? A lot of it comes down to a European influence on Chilean culture, particularly from Spain and France, where formal dining etiquette is highly valued. Over generations, these customs became the standard for everyone, not just the upper class. Using utensils is seen as a sign of being civilized and well-educated. It's a way of showing respect for the food, for your hosts, and for the other people at the table. It's a nonverbal way of saying, I am a person of good breeding and manners. It's that deep. I'm just imagining a challenge video right now. I ate an entire bucket of chicken with a fork and knife, because that's literally what you'd have to do in Chile. Fried chicken, empanadas, sandwiches, foods that are the definition of handheld snacks elsewhere, are often tackled with utensils. For empanadas, which are basically Chilean hand pies, many people will cut them in half with a knife and eat the filling with a fork to avoid getting their hands greasy. It's a level of commitment to cleanliness that is honestly impressive, even if it seems completely wild to us. This rule creates a fascinating social dynamic. It slows down the act of eating, turning it into a more deliberate and mindful process. You can't just scarf down your food when you're carefully maneuvering a knife and fork. This forces you to engage more with the people you're with, to talk between bites, and to participate in that relaxed Chilean time we just talked about. The two taboos are actually connected. The formal eating style supports the slow, conversation-focused meal culture. It's all part of a bigger cultural puzzle that prioritizes social grace over speed and convenience. So, if you're in Chile and you're handed something that looks like finger food, pause for a second. Look for the silverware. It's probably there for a reason. Embracing this custom is a huge sign of respect. It shows that you're willing to adapt and that you appreciate their cultural norms. It might feel awkward at first to eat a burger with a fork, but it's way less awkward than getting a dozen strange looks from everyone in the restaurant. This is your chance to prove you're a culturally aware traveler. Don't fail the utensil challenge. Okay, this next one is so extreme. It sounds like something I would make up for a video, but I promise you, it is 100% real. There is a place in Chile where, in order to live there, you are required to have your appendix surgically removed. I'm not joking. If you want to move to this town, you have to literally get a body part taken out first. This is without a doubt one of the most insane rules for a community I have ever heard of in my entire life. The place is called Villa Las Estrellas, which translates to the Stars Town, and it's one of the few civilian settlements in Antarctica. So, why this crazy rule? Villa Las Estrellas is one of the most remote places on planet Earth. It's located on an island off the coast of the Antarctic Peninsula and is operated by the Chilean Air Force. The town has a school, a post office, a bank, and a small hospital, but the medical facilities are extremely limited. They do not have a full-time surgeon, and the nearest major hospital is over 600 miles away, across a treacherous stretch of ocean known as the Drake Passage. Getting a patient to a proper hospital is a logistical nightmare that depends on good weather, which is rare in Antarctica. Because of this extreme isolation, any medical emergency is a life or death situation, and one of the most common surgical emergencies is appendicitis. If your appendix bursts, you need surgery within hours, or you could die. Since they can't guarantee a surgeon or a timely evacuation, the Chilean government decided to eliminate the risk altogether. So, for anyone planning to live in Villa Las Estrellas for an extended period, especially families with children, getting an appendectomy is a mandatory prerequisite. They literally will not let you move there if you still have your appendix. Think about the commitment that requires. You and your entire family have to undergo surgery, removing a perfectly healthy organ, just for the opportunity to live in this incredibly remote, frozen town. It's an unbelievable safety precaution. It's not a taboo in the traditional sense, but a strict, life-saving rule born out of pure necessity. It highlights the extreme lengths people must go to in order to survive and thrive in one of the world's harshest environments. It's a real-life survival challenge with an insane entry fee, a piece of your own body. And the appendix rule is just the beginning of the wild lifestyle in Villa Las Estrellas. It's a town of about 100 people in the winter, mostly scientists and military personnel and their families. They are living in almost total isolation for months on end. The sun disappears for 4 months during the Antarctic winter, plunging the town into constant darkness and unbelievably cold temperatures that can drop below -50 degrees Fahrenheit. This is not a normal place to live. It's like living on another planet, and it comes with a whole unique set of rules and social codes. The appendix removal is the most famous rule, but there are other similar precautions. For example, pregnant women are typically required to leave the continent during their 3rd trimester. Just like with appendicitis, the risk of complications during childbirth is too high to manage with the limited medical resources available on site. The town is built for survival, and that means minimizing every possible risk. It's a community where safety protocols aren't just suggestions, they are the absolute law, because a single mistake could be fatal. Living in such a small, isolated community creates an incredibly tight-knit social structure. You can't just avoid your neighbors if you don't like them. They're the only other people you'll see for months. This forces a level of cooperation and social harmony that is unheard of in most places. Everyone relies on everyone else, not just for company, but for survival. It's the ultimate team challenge, where the prize is making it through the long, dark winter safely. The shared experience of living in such an extreme environment, including the shared experience of all having a scar from their appendectomy, bonds these people together in a way we can barely imagine. So while the no appendix rule sounds like a crazy taboo, it's actually a symbol of the entire philosophy of Villa Las Estrellas. It's a testament to human ingenuity and our ability to adapt to even the most inhospitable places on Earth. It represents a community that prioritizes collective safety over individual convenience. It's a place where you literally have to leave a part of yourself behind to become a part of something bigger, a tiny, resilient speck of human life in the vast frozen wilderness of Antarctica. And that is absolutely wild. Alright, so you think you know how to dress for any occasion? What if I told you that in certain parts of Chile, your favorite summer outfit could get you kicked out of town? I'm not even kidding. We're talking about a fashion challenge where the rules aren't even written down. In the big cities like Santiago, you can pretty much wear whatever you want. It's a total free-for-all. But the second you drive out into the countryside, into the real rural heart of Chile, it's like stepping into a completely different game. The stakes get higher. And one wrong move, one misplaced tank top, could be social suicide. It's an insane cultural shift that you have to see to believe. Imagine this. I give you $100,000, but you have to survive 1 week in rural Chile without offending anyone with your clothes. It sounds easy, right? Wrong. This is where it gets crazy. In these smaller, more traditional communities, showing too much skin isn't just seen as a little bold, it's considered deeply disrespectful. We're talking about a level of modesty that most people in the West can't even comprehend. It's not about being old-fashioned. It's about respecting deep-seated cultural and religious values that have been passed down for literally hundreds of years. So forget your shorts and sleeveless shirts, because they are not on the approved gear list for this challenge. This isn't just some random preference, guys. There's a huge historical reason behind it. These rural areas are often the strongholds of tradition, where the influence of the Catholic Church and indigenous customs are still incredibly powerful. For them, modesty is a sign of respect for yourself, for your family, and for the entire community. Dressing revealingly is like walking into a library and screaming at the top of your lungs. It shows that you don't understand or care about their social rules. It's a silent language, and if you don't speak it, you're going to fail this challenge, I guarantee it. So, what's the secret to winning? It's all about adapting. Think long sleeves, long pants, or skirts, and nothing too tight or flashy. It's the ultimate stealth mission, but with clothes. You have to blend in, show that you respect their way of life, and think before you even pack your suitcase. It's a cultural taboo that can make or break your entire trip. If you show up looking like you're heading to the beach, you won't just get weird looks. You might find it impossible to connect with anyone. It's a massive social barrier, and we're about to see just how high it is. Okay, let's break this down even further, because this is wild. The line between acceptable and offensive is so thin, it's basically invisible. For men, wearing shorts in a rural town, especially if you're going into a church or someone's home, is a huge no-go. It's seen as way too casual, almost like you're not taking the situation seriously. It's the equivalent of wearing swim trunks to a wedding. For women, the rules are even stricter. Shoulders and knees should almost always be covered. We're talking about a level of conservative dress that is the absolute norm there, and breaking it makes you stand out in the worst way possible. This taboo is so powerful that it can affect everything from getting served at a local restaurant to being invited into someone's home. People in these communities pride themselves on their hospitality, but that hospitality is built on a foundation of mutual respect. If you show up dressing in a way they consider inappropriate, you're essentially telling them you don't respect their values. It's a silent conversation, and you're screaming disrespect without saying a single word. It's a crazy social dynamic that can completely shut you out before you even get a chance to say hello. And this isn't just about older generations either. These values are taught to kids from a very young age. It's woven into the fabric of their daily life. So when a tourist comes in with a completely different standard of dress, it's genuinely jarring for the entire community. It's not that they're trying to be judgmental. It's that you've entered their world, their space, and you're not playing by the rules that everyone else lives by. It's a classic case of when in Rome, but the consequences here feel so much more personal and immediate. It's a social challenge with a very strict, unspoken dress code. So, the ultimate lesson here is research and respect. Before you even think about packing for a trip to the Chilean countryside, you have to do your homework. What seems perfectly normal to you could be a major sign of disrespect there. It's a reminder that travel is about more than just seeing new places. It's about understanding and adapting to different cultures. And in rural Chile, that lesson starts with your wardrobe. If you can master this simple act of respect, you've already lost the game. It's a fascinating and super important taboo to understand. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Imagine I told you that for the next 24 hours, you're not allowed to laugh out loud. You can't even show your teeth when you smile. If you do, you lose $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? Well, welcome to a very real social taboo in Chile. In many social situations, especially more formal or traditional ones, laughing loudly and showing a big toothy grin is seen as, get this, impolite and low class. It's an insane cultural rule that completely changes how you express happiness. It's like there's a volume knob on joy, and in Chile, they prefer to keep it turned way down. You're probably thinking, but Jimmy, laughing is a good thing, and you're right. But in Chile, the way you laugh says a lot about you. A loud, boisterous laugh, the kind where you're throwing your head back and everyone in the room can hear you, can be interpreted as you trying to draw too much attention to yourself. It's seen as lacking self-control and subtlety. Instead, the preferred style is a more modest, controlled laugh. A quiet chuckle, a gentle giggle, that's the gold standard. It's a social game of emotional stealth, where being understated is how you win. It's absolutely wild. This applies to smiling too. A huge, wide-mouthed, toothy smile, which in many cultures is a sign of genuine warmth and friendliness, can be perceived differently in Chile. It can come across as overly eager or even insincere. The ideal is a more reserved, close-mouthed smile. It's meant to be a subtle acknowledgement, a sign of polite engagement, not a massive broadcast of your emotions. It's a form of social etiquette that is so deeply ingrained that people do it without even thinking. For an outsider, it's one of the hardest challenges to get right, because it goes against every natural instinct. So, the challenge is this. Can you navigate a Chilean social gathering without breaking the laugh code? Can you express joy and friendliness without going overboard? It's a test of your social awareness and your ability to read the room. It's not about being unhappy or unfriendly, it's about expressing those feelings in a way that aligns with their cultural norms. It's a fascinating look at how something as universal as laughter can be so different across the world. Forgetting this rule is one of the fastest ways to make a bad impression. It's an unbelievable social taboo. Let's dig deeper, because this gets even more insane. The root of this taboo is all about maintaining a certain level of social composure and sophistication. In Chilean culture, there's a high value placed on ubication, which roughly translates to knowing your place and behaving appropriately for the context. Loud emotional displays, whether it's laughter or anger, are seen as a lack of ubication. It's as if you don't understand the social atmosphere. So, a quiet laugh isn't about being repressed. It's about showing that you are in control, respectful, and socially intelligent. It's a high-stakes social performance. Think about it like this. In a business meeting, you wouldn't start cracking up hysterically, right? In Chile, that same logic is applied to a much wider range of social situations, including family dinners and casual get-togethers. The expectation is to always maintain a certain decorum. This is especially true when you are meeting people for the first time. Your first impression is everything, and if you come across as loud and boisterous, it can be very difficult to recover from that. It's a cultural test, and the quiet ones are the ones who pass with flying colors. I can't believe this is real. This is why, to outsiders, Chileans can sometimes seem very serious or reserved at first. They're not being unfriendly, they're just operating on a different social frequency. They are waiting to gauge the situation and the people around them before they open up. Once you've built a rapport and a level of comfort, you'll see more expressive behavior. But the default setting is definitely one of restraint. It's a cultural dance, and you have to learn the steps. Rushing in with loud jokes and a huge grin is like trying to do a crazy dance in the middle of a slow waltz. You'll just look out of place. So if you travel to Chile, here's your mission. Observe and adapt. Pay attention to how people around you are interacting. Notice the volume of their conversations and the subtlety of their smiles. Mirroring their behavior is the ultimate sign of respect. It shows that you are not just a tourist passing through. You're someone who is making a genuine effort to connect and understand their culture. Mastering the art of the silent laugh is your secret key to unlocking authentic Chilean social life. It's an incredible, mind-bending social rule. All right, this next one is the most serious taboo on our list. I'm not even going to joke about it. Imagine I offered you $10 million, but the challenge was you had to make a joke about earthquakes in Chile. You would lose instantly. And you wouldn't just lose the money, you would lose every ounce of respect from every single person in that country. Joking about earthquakes in Chile is the ultimate taboo. It is absolutely 100% off limits, and for a very good reason. This isn't just a social preference. This is about deep collective trauma that has shaped the entire nation. To understand why this is so serious, you have to understand Chile's relationship with the earth. The country is located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most seismically active zones on the entire planet. Earthquakes aren't a rare, shocking event here. They are a constant and terrifying part of life. We're not talking about little tremors. We're talking about some of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded in human history. The Great Chilean Earthquake of 1960 was a 9.5 on the Richter scale, the strongest ever. It's a level of destruction that is almost impossible to imagine. For Chileans, earthquakes are not a punchline. They are a source of immense pain, loss, and fear. Every single person in Chile has a story about an earthquake. They have lived through them, lost loved ones, or seen their homes and cities destroyed. These events leave scars that last for generations. So, when an outsider makes a light-hearted comment or a joke about the ground shaking, it's not just in poor taste. It is profoundly insulting and deeply hurtful. It trivializes a lifetime of fear and the memory of real-life tragedies that have devastated their country. This is a topic that commands absolute seriousness and respect. There is no wiggle room here. Even a casual, seemingly harmless joke like, "Wow, is the ground shaking or is it just me?" will be met with stone-cold silence and disapproval. It shows a complete lack of empathy and understanding of their national experience. It's like walking up to someone who just survived a house fire and making a joke about playing with matches. You just don't do it, ever. It's the one conversational line you can never ever cross in Chile. The seriousness of this taboo goes even deeper. The constant threat of earthquakes has fundamentally shaped the Chilean psyche. It has built a culture of incredible resilience, preparedness, and community solidarity. When an earthquake hits, Chileans come together. They check on their neighbors. They help with rescue efforts. They rebuild. It's a shared struggle that unites the entire country. Joking about it isn't just insulting to the victims, it's insulting to the very spirit of resilience that defines their national character. It's an attack on their strength. Think about the sheer scale of what they deal with. The 2010 earthquake was an 8.8 magnitude monster that triggered a tsunami and caused widespread devastation. The country has had to engineer its buildings, infrastructure, and even its emergency response systems to withstand these incredible forces of nature. School children practice earthquake drills constantly. Every family has an emergency kit. It's a state of permanent readiness. This isn't a theoretical danger, it's the lived reality for 19 million people. To treat that reality as a joke is to be willfully ignorant of their entire world. This is why you will see that Chileans talk about earthquakes, but they do so with a unique tone of gravity and respect. They will share their experiences, they will discuss safety measures, and they will remember past events with solemnity. It's a conversation that is always tinged with the memory of loss and the awareness of future risk. It's a topic for serious discussion, not for humor. Entering that conversation as a foreigner requires you to listen with empathy and speak with caution. It's a sacred space, and jokes are not welcome. So the final word on this is simple: don't. Of all the taboos in Chile, this is the one that carries the most emotional weight. It's not about being overly sensitive. It's about respecting the very real and very painful history of a nation that has endured the unimaginable. Your challenge, as a visitor, is to understand that trauma and to honor it with your silence on the matter. If you want to show respect to the Chilean people, you will never, ever joke about earthquakes. It is the ultimate sign of cultural ignorance and a mistake you absolutely cannot afford to make. Alright, for our next taboo, we're hitting the road, but you gotta check your footwear first. Because in Chile, driving in flip-flops isn't just a bad idea, it's literally against the law. This might sound like a super random rule, but I promise you, there's a huge reason behind it, and it could save your life. Imagine you're cruising down the street, you see a red light, and you go to hit the brake. But your flip-flop gets stuck under the pedal. That split second of panic could be the difference between a safe stop and a massive accident. The Chilean government saw this exact risk and decided to completely eliminate it, making it illegal to drive with footwear that isn't securely attached to your foot. It's a crazy concept for those of us who live in sandals, but when you think about it, it's actually a genius safety move. This isn't just some old forgotten law that nobody enforces. No way! The Carabineros, Chile's national police force, are super vigilant about this. If they pull you over and see you're wearing flip-flops, you are getting a massive fine. No questions asked. We're talking a penalty that could seriously ruin your vacation budget. Think about it. One wrong shoe choice and you could be paying hundreds of dollars. It's a harsh penalty, but it shows just how seriously they take road safety. They believe that the driver's control over the vehicle is the most important thing, and anything that compromises that, like a flimsy piece of rubber on your foot, is a major liability they are not willing to risk. So what's the big deal? Why are flip-flops so dangerous? It all comes down to physics and reaction time, people. When you wear proper shoes, your foot is one with the pedal. You press, it responds instantly. But with a flip-flop, there's a delay. The sole can bend, your foot can slide, or the whole thing can just fly off. In an emergency braking situation, every single millisecond counts. That tiny bit of flop in your flip-flop could translate to several extra feet of stopping distance on the road. We're talking about the difference between stopping just in time and rear-ending the car in front of you. The law is designed to give every driver the best possible chance to react perfectly in a crisis. This law creates a fascinating cultural difference for tourists. In places like California or Florida, driving in flip-flops is practically a way of life. But in Chile, you have to completely reprogram your brain. You'll see locals who live by the beach making a conscious effort to change their shoes before they even think about getting behind the wheel. They'll have a dedicated pair of driving shoes in their car just for this purpose. It's a small habit, but it's deeply ingrained in the driving culture here. It's a reminder that what's normal in one country can be a serious offense in another, and in this case, it's a taboo that could cost you a ton of money and keep everyone on the road a lot safer. Let's break down the science of why this is such a massive deal. Your ability to apply consistent and immediate pressure to the pedals is everything. A study by road safety experts actually found that driving in flip-flops can slow your braking reaction time by up to 0.13 seconds. That might sound like nothing, but at 60 miles per hour, that's an extra 11 feet your car travels before you even start to slow down. That's literally the length of a small car. The law isn't just about the flip-flop getting stuck. It's about the fundamental lack of control and the delayed reaction it causes. It's a calculated risk that Chile has decided is completely unacceptable for its drivers. And it's not just braking. Think about accelerating. You need to be able to smoothly control the gas pedal. If your flip-flop slips, you could accidentally slam on the gas, lurching forward unexpectedly. This is especially dangerous in tight parking lots or heavy city traffic, where precision is key. The Chilean authorities have basically looked at all the variables and concluded that any footwear that isn't securely fastened to the ankle and heel is a hazard. This includes not just flip-flops, but also certain types of sandals and high heels. The rule is simple. If it can slip off, it stays off when you're in the driver's seat. It's a level of precaution that is honestly next level. This law has a ripple effect on daily life in ways you wouldn't even imagine. Car rental companies in Chile make a huge point of warning tourists about this rule. It's often one of the first things they tell you when you pick up your car, right alongside reminders to wear a seatbelt. They know that foreign visitors are the most likely to break this law unknowingly, so they go out of their way to educate them. This proactive approach helps prevent accidents and saves tourists from hefty fines. It's a small detail that shows how deeply this safety-conscious mindset is embedded in the country's infrastructure and business practices. Ultimately, this taboo is a powerful symbol of Chile's collective approach to public safety. It's a country that has faced immense natural disasters and understands the importance of being prepared and minimizing risk wherever possible. While a law against flip-flop driving might seem overly cautious to outsiders, for Chileans it's just common sense. It's a simple, effective way to reduce preventable accidents and protect lives. So if you're planning a road trip through the Andes or along the stunning Chilean coast, remember to pack your sneakers. Your wallet, and potentially your life, will thank you for it. It's one of the craziest but smartest laws we've ever seen. Get ready for this, because our next taboo isn't just a social rule, it's a nationwide revolution that changed everything. In 2018, Chile did something absolutely insane. They became the first country in all of South America to completely ban single-use plastic bags in all retail stores. I'm not talking about a small tax or a little fee. I mean a total 100% ban. Overnight, the flimsy plastic bags you get at the grocery store just vanished. Imagine going to Walmart and they literally have no bags to give you. This was a monumental shift that forced every single person in the country to change their habits instantly. It was a bold, aggressive move to fight pollution, and it sent shockwaves across the continent. The lead up to this ban was years in the making. Chile's stunningly long coastline, over 4,000 miles of it, was being choked by plastic pollution. Beaches were littered with bags, and marine animals were suffering. The government, led by environmental activists and a growing public demand for change, decided that a drastic measure was the only solution. They didn't just target big supermarket chains. The ban applied to every single business, from massive hypermarkets in Santiago to the smallest family-owned corner store in a remote village. There were no exceptions. This comprehensive approach was key to making the law so incredibly effective. It was a declaration of war on plastic. The transition was a challenge, but the cultural adaptation was mind-blowing. Suddenly, reusable bags became the hottest accessory in the country. People started carrying them everywhere. In their backpacks, their purses, their cars. It became a new social norm. Forgetting your reusable bag at the grocery store became a moment of genuine crisis. You'd see people trying to juggle a dozen items in their arms, dropping oranges and onions as they walked to their car. It was a comical but powerful lesson that forced everyone to remember their bags next time. The government essentially engineered a nationwide habit change through sheer force of law. This wasn't just about convenience, it became a point of national pride. Chileans started to see themselves as pioneers in environmental protection in the region. They were leading the charge, setting an example for neighboring countries like Peru and Colombia, who soon followed with their own plastic regulations. The ban transformed the visual landscape of the country. Rivers and parks became cleaner, and the sight of a plastic bag tangled in a tree, once common, became a rarity. It was a powerful, tangible result that everyone could see, reinforcing the idea that this massive, inconvenient change was absolutely worth it. It's one of the most successful environmental laws ever. The impact of this ban goes so much deeper than just cleaner beaches. It fundamentally shifted the national conversation around consumption and waste. People started thinking more critically about all types of packaging, not just bags. Supermarkets began offering more loose produce, encouraging customers to bring their own containers. A whole new market for stylish, durable, and locally made reusable bags exploded. Entrepreneurs saw an opportunity, creating a cottage industry that supported local economies. The ban didn't just subtract something from the culture, it added a new layer of environmental consciousness and economic opportunity. It was a catalyst for a much bigger green movement. Of course, there was some resistance at first. Some people complained about the inconvenience, and small business owners worried about the cost of alternatives. But the government supported the transition with massive public awareness campaigns. They explained the why behind the ban, using powerful imagery of polluted landscapes and harmed wildlife. They framed it not as a punishment, but as a collective effort to preserve Chile's natural beauty for future generations. This strategic communication was crucial in getting the vast majority of the population on board. It turned a government mandate into a shared social mission, which is just incredible. The long-term environmental results have been staggering. It is estimated that the ban has prevented the consumption of billions of plastic bags each year. That's billions of bags that are not ending up in landfills, not clogging waterways, and not breaking down into harmful microplastics. This has had a direct, positive impact on marine ecosystems and wildlife. It's a clear demonstration of how a single, bold policy can have a massive, cascading positive effect on the environment. Chile literally took a problem that seemed impossibly huge and just solved it. It's a massive win for the planet. This taboo on plastic bags is now a core part of modern Chilean identity. For the younger generation, growing up without single-use plastic bags is completely normal. They can't even imagine a time when every purchase came with a new piece of plastic trash. It shows how quickly a radical change can become the new normal. For visitors, it's a wake-up call. It forces you to confront your own habits and think about your environmental footprint. In Chile, protecting the environment isn't just a suggestion, it's the law. And it's a taboo you absolutely do not want to break. It's a powerful lesson that the rest of the world could learn from. Alright, for our 14th taboo, we're diving into something that seems simple but is a huge deal in Chile. I'm talking about waiting in line. Now, you might be thinking, dude, everyone waits in line, what's the big deal? But I'm telling you, in Chile, it's not just a suggestion, it's a way of life, an unspoken law of the land. If you think you can just crowd around a counter or casually slip in, you're about to make a massive mistake. The Chilean queue, or la fila, is a sacred institution. It doesn't matter if you're at the bank, the supermarket, a bus stop, or even a tiny corner store, there will be a line and you will respect it. It's one of the first things you'll notice, this incredible, almost supernatural sense of order. This isn't just about being polite, it's a core pillar of social order in Chile. Cutting in line is seen as one of the most disrespectful, selfish things a person can do. It's like telling everyone else their time is worthless and you're more important. You will get called out, probably very loudly and very publicly. I'm talking about grandmas, business people, teenagers. they will all unite against you in a heartbeat. It's a moment of pure, unadulterated social justice. They see it as a fundamental issue of fairness and equality. Everyone, regardless of who they are, has to wait their turn. It's a great equalizer in daily life, a system where everyone plays by the same rules, and they are not afraid to enforce them on the spot. Think about it like this. In some places, a chaotic crowd is normal. People push, they shove, they try to get the cashier's attention. In Chile, that's pure chaos, a complete breakdown of society. Their system is built on this shared understanding that order creates fairness for everyone. So, when you arrive somewhere, your first mission is to find the end of the line. Sometimes it's not obvious. It might snake around a corner or be spread out. But you have to find it. Asking, ¿Quién es el último? Which means, who is the last one, is the magic phrase. Someone will raise their hand, and now you know your place in the universe. It's a beautiful, simple system that keeps the world turning smoothly. The social pressure to conform to this is immense. Even if no one is looking, you feel the weight of this cultural expectation. It's ingrained in them from childhood. It's a sign of a good upbringing, of being a considerate member of society. So, if you're visiting, just embrace it. Take a deep breath, find your spot, and relax. It's a chance to see a fascinating aspect of the local culture in action. Trying to cheat the system is not a life hack here. It's a one-way ticket to being the villain in everyone's story for the day. Trust me, you don't want that kind of attention. The queue is king, and you are its loyal subject. Now let's break down the psychology of the Chilean line, because it's deeper than you think. This isn't just about waiting. It's a form of nonverbal communication and social contract. When you stand in that line, you are agreeing to a set of unwritten rules. You maintain a respectful distance, you don't crowd the person in front of you, and you patiently wait for the line to move. It's a silent demonstration of civic responsibility. It shows that you value community harmony over your own individual impatience. And honestly, it's incredibly efficient. There's no confusion, no arguments about who was next. The system just works, and everyone understands their role in making it work. This culture of queuing extends to literally everything. I'm not exaggerating. You need to take a number at the butcher shop, at the pharmacy, at government offices. These little paper tickets are like golden tickets to service. Losing that number is a catastrophe. It's like you've been erased from existence. You'll see people clutching their little numbered slips of paper like they're holding a winning lottery ticket. And in a way they are. It's their proof, their undeniable claim to their spot in the queue. It's a physical manifestation of the order that governs their daily transactions. So if someone hands you a number, guard it with your life. Let's imagine you're in a crowded bakery on a Sunday morning. The scene could be total chaos, but in Chile, it's a symphony of order. People will form a line that snakes through the entire store, patiently waiting to order their marraqueta bread. There's no shouting, no waving money. Everyone knows the drill. And if a tourist, completely unaware, walks up to the counter, the entire line will stop and stare. A collective, silent judgment will fall upon them. Someone will gently, but firmly, point to the end of the line. It's a learning moment, a cultural baptism by fire, and it's fascinating to watch. They aren't trying to be mean. They are simply upholding the very fabric of their social etiquette. So, the ultimate takeaway here is that patience is more than a virtue in Chile. It's a requirement for daily life. The line is a symbol of respect, fairness, and the collective good. It's a small everyday act that reinforces a much larger cultural value. So when you're there, don't fight it. Don't look for a shortcut. Embrace the queue. Observe the subtle social cues. Learn the magic question, ¿Quién es el último? It will not only save you from major embarrassment, but will also give you a genuine insight into the Chilean soul. It's one of the most powerful, unspoken rules you'll encounter. And now, for our final and possibly most dangerous taboo. This is the one that can get you into some seriously hot water. I'm talking about the rivalry between Chile and Argentina. And when I say rivalry, I don't mean a friendly sports competition. I mean a deep, historical and passionate rivalry that touches everything from politics to soccer to who has the better wine. So, the 15th taboo is this. Do not, under any circumstances, start praising Argentina when you're in Chile. This is like going to a hardcore Yankees fan and telling them how amazing the Red Sox are. It's just not going to end well for you. You are stepping on a cultural landmine. This rivalry is baked into the national identity of both countries. They share a massive border along the Andes Mountains, and they've had historical disputes over territory, like the Beagle Channel conflict that almost led to war in the 70s. These historical tensions have simmered for generations and have become part of the cultural DNA. For Chileans, there's a sense of pride in their own country's stability, its economic development, and its unique identity. They often see Argentinians as being louder, more arrogant, and a bit chaotic. So when a foreigner comes in and starts gushing about how great Buenos Aires is, it can feel like a direct jab. Think of it like a sibling rivalry on a national scale. They are neighbors, they have a shared history, but they are also constantly comparing themselves to each other. Who has the more beautiful landscapes? Who makes the better pisco? Who has the better soccer players? Spoiler alert, the answer to all of these questions, if you're in Chile, is always Chile. Praising Argentina's steak, their tango, or their World Cup victories is seen as taking a side, and you've just chosen the wrong one. It can come across as incredibly naive or even worse, intentionally provocative. So how do you navigate this? It's simple. Just don't bring it up. If someone else brings it up, the best thing you can do is listen and nod. Don't try to play devil's advocate or say something like, "But Argentina is great too." That's the kiss of death. You can talk about your travels in Argentina if you're asked, but be diplomatic. Focus on neutral topics. But proactively offering up praise for the neighbor and rival? That's a social foul of the highest order. It's a topic so charged with emotion and history that, as a visitor, you have nothing to gain and everything to lose by wading into it. Let's dig deeper into why this is such a big deal. It's not just about jokes and sports. There are real, tangible differences in culture and national character that fuel this rivalry. Chileans often pride themselves on being more reserved, hardworking, and pragmatic. The national stereotype they have of Argentinians is that they are more dramatic, passionate, and perhaps a bit less reliable. It's a classic clash of personalities played out on a geopolitical stage. When you praise Argentina, you're not just complimenting a place. You're inadvertently validating a stereotype that Chileans define themselves against. It's like you're telling them the other team's strategy is better. The language itself is a battleground. Chileans have their own unique fast-paced Spanish filled with tons of slang, or Chilenismos. Argentinian Spanish, with its distinctive che and vos and Italian-like intonation, is immediately recognizable and often a source of parody in Chile. They'll joke about the Argentinian accent and their supposedly arrogant way of speaking. So complimenting the beautiful Argentinian accent while you're in Santiago is a massive blunder. You're basically telling them you prefer the sound of their rival's voice. It's a subtle but powerful way to cause offense without even realizing it. Even food and drink are part of this Cold War. Both countries claim to be the origin of dulce de leche, though they call it manjar in Chile. The debate over who invented the pisco sour is a source of unending national pride and conflict with Peru. But Argentina also produces pisco, and Chileans are quick to dismiss it as inferior. And the wine? Chile is immensely proud of its world-class wineries. Suggesting that Argentinian Malbec is the best in South America is fighting words. These aren't just matters of taste, they are matters of national honor, deeply intertwined with their identity and their place in the world. So, the ultimate survival guide is to treat Argentina like Voldemort, he who must not be named, positively. You can acknowledge its existence, but that's about it. This isn't to say Chileans hate all Argentinians on an individual level. Many have Argentinian friends or family. But as a national concept, as a rival, the animosity is real. And it's something you have to respect as a visitor. It's a complex, fascinating part of the South American cultural landscape. Your best bet is to focus all your positive energy on Chile. Praise their food, their landscapes, their wine, and their people. You'll make friends much, much faster that way. And that is a wrap on 15 of the biggest taboos in Chile. From how you greet someone to what you can't say about their neighbors, Chilean culture is full of these incredible unspoken rules. We've gone from the beaches of Playa Luna to the icy plains of Antarctica, from the dinner table to the driver's seat. It's a country with a deep sense of tradition, order, and national pride. Breaking one of these rules might just get you a weird look, but breaking another could get you into some serious trouble. Which one of these taboos shocked you the most? Was it the appendix removal rule? Or the fact that you can't even eat French fries with your hands? I want to know what you guys think. Have you ever been to Chile and unknowingly broken one of these rules? Or maybe you're from Chile and there's a huge one we missed. Share your thoughts and your stories in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and this is how we all learn. The world is a massive, weird, and wonderful place. And the best part is sharing what we discover with this community. So get down there and let me know what's on your mind. Did we get it right? What country should we do next? I'm always looking for the next challenge. This channel is all about exploring the most insane cultural facts, The craziest unspoken rules and the most unbelievable truths from every corner of the globe. If you love discovering the things that make each country unique and want to become a global expert from your couch, you are in the right place. We post videos like this all the time, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, and most importantly, turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next video. You have no idea what we have planned next, but I promise you it's going to be wild. Thank you all so much for watching. Every single view, like, and comment means the world to me and the whole team. We literally couldn't do this without you. We spent weeks researching and putting this deep dive together, all to bring you the most interesting facts we could find. So one last time, hit that subscribe button and I will see you in the next video. We're going to find another country and break down all of its craziest rules. See you then.